Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we're going to cover pretty simple rules, okay, in math that usually involves variables, okay? So, all you have to know today is we're going to deal with a little bit of fractions, which is okay. I know fractions are scary for a lot of people. We're going to work them together, okay? All we have to worry about is if we have a variable, okay, we have x to the second power. Let's start with something very basic. X to the second power times x to the third power. The rule is when you are multiplying, okay, hint, hint, it's in the rule. When you're multiplying two numbers that have variables, okay, obviously today we're doing with just variables, okay, no numbers. So all you have to do is combine, leave x, okay, so it becomes x. The rule is that when two variables are being multiplied with exponents, all you have to do to those exponents is add them, okay? So we have x, 2 plus 3. So your final answer is x to the fifth. And that's it, okay? Again, now we're going to get a little more into fractions. We have x to the 1/2 times x to the 1/5. Okay? Notice that I didn't do it the same because for the same reason. Equals x 1/2 plus 1/5. Notice that you cannot really combine the 1/2 plus the 1/5 unless they are common denominators, okay? So here we have to alter the equations. We're going to multiply this side by 5 and this side by 2, okay? So we have 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 5 is 10. You might ask yourself, how can you multiply the 1/2 times 5 and the 1/5 times 2? The reason why is because we're trying to find the same denominator. Notice that the closest number they have in common is 10. Because 5 times 2 is 10. That's why the 2, we altered it by 5, and the 5 by 2. Okay? But not only the bottom, we have to also do to the top. So we did 5 times 1, and then 5 times 2. That's why it gave us 5 over 10. And then 2 times 1, and then 2 times 5, which is 2 over 10. Okay? So we have x. Again, now we can actually combine them. So your final answer is going to be x. 5 plus 2 is 7 over 10. And that is your answer. Okay? So that's the rule. When you multiply, you add the exponents. Okay? Make sure you write down the notes before I erase them. I'm going to show you one more. This time we're going to actually do division, which in the opposite of division, remember, if the opposite of multiplication is adding, the opposite of division is subtraction. Okay? So everybody has all this down. Let me just go ahead and erase it. Okay, so now the opposite is if we have x 1/5. Let's start with basics. Let's start with the very basic stuff. X to the 4th over x to the 2nd. It's written as, again, keep the x. Remember, the opposite of division is subtraction. So we have 4 minus 2. The top numbers goes first, the bottom number goes second, okay? So we have x, 4 minus 2, which in this case x equals x squared, because 4 minus 2 is 2. So x squared. So your final answer is x squared, okay? Let's do one with fractions, just so you guys can get the hang of it as well. X 2/5 over x 1/2. Okay? Notice that, again, I didn't really use the same denominator, so we have to actually alter it, get into that mentality that when fractions are the same, you have to alter the fraction, okay? So we have x 2/5 minus 1/2. Again, we have to find a common denominator. If you guys remember from the previous one, I used the same numbers. So we have to alter the 2/5 by 2 and the 1/2 by 5. So your answer is x. 2 times 2 is 4 over 10 minus 5 times 1 is 5 over 10. So x, 4 minus 5 is negative 1. Keep the same denominator. 10. Notice that, okay, we have a negative 1 over 10, okay? That's fine. We're not going to worry about it too much on the next step. All we have to do is break it down from the original problem, okay? So our answer is x negative 1/10 as the exponent, okay? And that is it. All we're doing is transferring or converting, in other words, should I say. Make sure you write down the notes. Make sure you have it all down. All right, so now that you have it down, your assignment for today is we have x 4 times x 2. That is the first one, your first assignment. Your second one is, let's do some other color here, x 1/2 times x 1/4. Okay. And then finally, we're going to use x over 6, or x to the 6th power over x to the 2nd power. Okay. Those are your 3 problems. Make sure you submit your answers as soon as you're done watching the video. Okay. And I'll be waiting for your email.